and the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under it.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young.
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young.
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown lekker. Peace.
Young
Guarantee
TV.
you. Hit that like.
Yo, peace. We just kind of check in with you to see where your head's at. We back up and running. Took a couple of days off. Well, we ain't taking our days off. Really was working on the AIs and generating pictures and stuff for the AIs. We really don't never take no day off, right? We just ain't went live, right? Yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff going around. You know, the Greenland UFO. They saying they was the dude was describing the people, and when he was describing the people, I said, "Oh yeah, he talking about the coneheads, the Terus." Said the Terus was living aboard this ship that that landed supposedly 50,000 years ago here. And then it's another thing going around on Instagram with they going after the brother Rashad Jamal, free the brother Rashad Jamal. He's saying that you know, Columbus came over on a UFO. They going after the brother. They saying the brother's reaching out of space and things. Now, do I think Columbus came over here on a UFO? A UFO is an unidentified flying object. Columbus came on a ship, and the people that helped him sail over here on that ship was us. By default, pretty much gunpoint and family ransom. Now, I see where he was going with it. If he's saying that, oh well, Christopher Columbus was an extraterrestrial, he was a synagogue of Satan, an avatar for the dragon and his people. And then they came over here. They brought genocide and war, and pretty much killed. They came with the kill, steal, and destroy mechanism, which ties right back into the dragon and what he's all about, according to Yahshua. That's why y'all like Jesus, right? Yeah. So like Jesus, Yahshua said that the devil is a killer and a liar. And I'm pretty sure if you read the diagram of Christopher Columbus, you'll come pretty close to that. You know what I'm saying? So it stands to reason, based on the information we collected up to now, there is a high possibility that he could have been one of them synagogues of Satan. Now, was the object that he came on a flying, unidentified object? We had identified them objects. We pretty much probably built the object that he sailed on back over here. But that's just another thing. But we see where the brother was going. They going after the brother, talking about that. Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you something, man. Thanks to Dr. Malachi Z. York. I love Doc, right? I love Doc because of Doc, we the students of Dr. Malachi Z. York, we got a lot of pieces. A lot of people don't got a lot of pieces. They missing a lot of pieces because they don't. I'm telling you, and it ain't like we don't care if you think they always trying to make their master teacher this and that. We don't care what you think. I don't care what you think. We got a lot of pieces that other people don't got. I hear people still guessing, talking about the ice wall. The ice wall? We already passed it. We already know about Shambhala. People have been knowing about Shambhala out of your earth is a hollow earth. We already knew that. Go look up Albert Bird. Project High Jump. Project Deep Freeze. We got tapes. We got AI tapes on all of this stuff that Doc put in the Man from Planet Riz and the Holy Tablets. They still guessing. Oh, we still trying to figure out the map behind it. We already got the map. The map is in the Holy Tablets. So it's like, people, so they still guessing on it. They still guessing on the ice wall. It's a lot of shit. And we already then figured it out 40, 50 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I know it at least been 20 to 30 for sure that we didn't figure it out already with the ice wall. Another thing, people that's going out, and I just said it 1,000 times, and I'm working on the tape right now to end it to where anybody say anything at this point, you just send them this tape. This country that you call America, you could change that. America translate into the land of the Moors. So you could just put more in the place of America. You could argue and kick on the ground and scream and say young girl. You can say whatever you want. Now in that, there's different families under that. Just like if you go to Europe, you got people from Spain, that's still part of Europe. You got people that's France, that's still part of Europe though, right? So they got different nationalities within Europe, but they all fall under the Europe umbrella. So it was like that over here. We were all Moors, but then you had this type of Moor, this type of Moor, that type of Moor. It was just a broad term for before the people of this landmass. And they didn't origin from no Africa. They didn't origin from Europe. None of that. They was already over. They was over here. The Moors origin from America. Why does it matter? It matters because the people are number one up on the land. It mattered to them. See, if it didn't matter to them, it wouldn't matter to me. The number one op, COINTELPRO, Killer Clowns, the Shriners, the people who guard the Federal Reserve, the 13 Killer Clowns, they number one priority is that. That's why it matters. See, it wouldn't matter to me if they didn't have a whole library dedicated to that. It wouldn't even matter. But that's why it would matter with all due respect. Miss Glow 9990223. That's why it matters. The people who set up this whole fraudulent system, the Judication Act, from the fruits of a poisonous tree, everything after that's a whole federal system. These guys are the guys that robbed us. 61 Executive Order 6102. The guys who signed that over, Franklin D. Roosevelt was a killer clown. The guys who signed House Joint Resolution 192 to convert us over into fiat currency, still pretty much put us into a perpetuated state of debt. These same guys, that's why it matters to me. They yeah, that's right. Glow 9 and 2. That's why it matters. Because the number one people who want the same people who killed King, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. You want me to keep going? Noble Drew Ali. Same people who put Dr. Malachi York in jail. The same people who put Jeff Ford in jail. The same people who put H. Rap Brown in jail. The same people who put George Walker and then had him killed in jail. The same people who put Larry Hoover in jail. The same people who shot Raymond Washington and blamed it on the Hoovers. The same people who set Tookie Williams up. You want me to keep going? Your number one ops. They're going out to all your chiefs on the land. Then they act like they, dismantled, but all they did is change their name and went into front companies. But they really killer clowns from outer space in 3D. They really killer clowns from outer space in 3D. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. And it's like this. That's why it matters. It would matter if they didn't it didn't matter to them. If they put their entrance, this is what their number one interest is, these guys. Protecting national security, which is Federal Reserve entrance, foreign suckers, foreign parasites. They protect foreign parasite entrance. And in that entrance, stopping these guys calling themselves the Moors and rocking these feds, which they just so happen to rock in their damn temples and shit with $200,000 jewelry on it. But they tell you, but they tell you don't mention it, don't worry about it. Why are you even worrying about that? Why you want to call yourself more? Ain't you cool with being a Crip or a Blood or Hebrew? They really don't like you. They ain't really concerned about the Hebrew thing because they know that's just the action. But they don't like you calling yourself Israel neither. They don't like you saying that. And then people say, oh, it wasn't no biblical terms. Man, the Bible, the whole history of the Bible come from this land. The whole history of the Bible come from this land. I can prove it. Because they stole tablets over here and then ran back to England. Took them about 11 years. And then they come back with this 1611 joint. I'm telling you, man, that their whole game is a facade. It's a whole game. It's an extraterrestrial involvement, though, the whole time, though. Because Enlil is running it down from the top. And then even when Enlil got kicked off the project, his goons and goblins kept it going. They kept the game running, man. To where it passed over now to Bill. Bill is Adad, who pretty much became this Enlil scapegoat, which is why that's one of his zoo types, the Menez joint, And so they mulacking and child sack up. It's all in the book, in the Bible, when they was doing it. Turning them over to it's a stupid thing that they do. No, I don't think so. 913. I think that he's Quaterson, just like he said. That being at one point was teaching through him because we got what we needed through Mark Brady. Mark Brady is one of the reasons, and people don't want to admit it. Mark Brady is one of the reasons we here at this point right now too, because mid-formation was a powerful move that we needed to get to where we at. Mark Brady is the master of information. People didn't get that class. That's why they missing another part. They missing other parts. See, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, peace and love to my teacher Mark Brady, Atun Ray. Atun Ray. Right? Bodie was just asking about him the other day. When I was talking to Bodie. So we going to war with Hala. Now at this point, we don't gotta look. I'm gonna tell you, man. When all the truth come out, a lot of us akin to Hala. You might not want to admit it. Doc that told us, but y'all, he said that we all gotta exercise the devil out of all of us. That's because Hala is Enlil's wife is Hala's daughter. Nana is a descendant of Hala. So all you people that a lot of y'all are daughters of Nana. Murdoch married Hala's daughter. A lot of y'all are descendants of Murdoch. That's what the wedding was about. See, the wedding, that's how the 200 fallen got to the wedding, to Murdoch's wedding in Aura, which is over here in America, right? Where Ohio and all that's it. Yeah, because, Cain was in the Garden of Eden, they say, right? And then Cain went east. If he went east, which was west back then, which is west now, out of the Garden of Eden, which is Florida, Tallahassee area, then that means he walked across over the Mississippi River. And there were giants over there in those days. Why the Smithsonian Institute is covering up giants? Go look that up. Go look up Smithsonian Institute covering up giants. Go look it up. You can't make stuff like this up. We at the point now where they already finished. Ain't no war. We already won. Go read Revelations chapter 12, verse 7. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. Yeah, we was fighting tooth and nail. Like Mark Brady said, they cut the lights off. Nigga, I remember. Hey, I remember. They cut the lights off. Because they could see in the dark. They thought that they was gonna get us because they could see it. They've been in the dark so long that they was gonna win. Or they was gonna get us. They cut the lights off. I remember pulling out two blades and I said, let's do it. And I remember Michael saying, let's dance. And we went to fighting. Like Mark Brady had said, we fought, we fight, we fight, we fight. I'm telling you, man. They put a movie out about it called The Immortals, where these beings come down and the 200 fallen are locked in a temple down in Shambhala. And this being finds Tahuti's bow. And he goes down there and shoot and bust the lock off and let him out. And then Mikael and them come down. He said, y'all not gonna leave this place. And then we start fighting. Go watch us a movie called Immortals. That's really about us. That's really about us fighting against the 200 fallen. But the beef, when the smoke cleared, and this is an old chapter. We on a new chapter now. When the smoke cleared, we realized we was our family anyway. That's gonna blow your brain. Because the news said there's no number but one. That's what we remember. Because you got to remember the Igigis was down with us at first. It was one small incident that caused the discrepancy. Not what they telling you about, oh, he wanted to be like Adam or he went by. Nah, that's all symbolic. It was they wanted to get some Mushu. The deal was we gonna get you some Mushu, be cool. Man, 7,000 years went by, they didn't get that joint, so they come down and take it. When they took it, we told them, hey, you can't do that. And it really was Enlil that made us, Murdoch wasn't really tripping because he was like, but you break the rules, you gotta suffer the consequences. We said don't do this, you did it, and boom, so the fight broke out. But to keep in mind, we had already, Hali is an Anunnaki. He part Anunnaki through his mother. So we all blended in together as one, really. And a lot of stuff people blaming the devil for is they the ones that's the real devil. When you go do some devilishment, you the real devil, not no outside source, fool, crazy. When you do good, that's the God doing the good. That's you, the higher self, your higher God. Your lower self is the devil. Your higher self is God. Ain't no external source. Now, when we talking about family and respect, going back to Anu, that's a family lineage. You know what I'm saying? It's dealing with family lineage. It's not dealing with, oh, be bow, I'm your God. Nah, man. We ain't never said that. Go read Revelations 22, verse 8. And listen to what Michael told John. Get up. I'm your fellow servant. You don't gotta bow before me. So when people coming talking about Amen said do this and Amen was this, they dealing with in a certain time frame. They dealing with the Aries, the time of Aries when Murdoch had to take over with an iron fist because stuff was getting out of hand. Then if you go back before that, you're dealing with the age of Taurus when when Enlil was ruling. That's why you see Enlil, some of his statues, he got a bull body on it with his head on it with wings, because it's dealing with the Taurus. And this is the same time they did the human evolution or the human upgrade period on Mars, which is why you see Hathor, who really is Mother Ninti, Anu's daughter, Enlil and Enki's sister, who was the head scientist on the human project with Enki, the upgrade. And you see her holding a child, breastfeeding him because she pretty much surrogate the first human being in her womb. And you see the horns on her head with a sun disk showing you that we in the age of Taurus when we upgrading these humans, or when we doing this atom project, right? And so that's all symbolism. And they sometimes mistake Anana or Isis or Set for Hathor. Then some people go out to say, "Oh, that's two different people," because they don't know. They don't. They just somebody misleading them, pretty much. Just like when they think that Murdoch and Amen is not the same guy. Murdoch, Amen, Atun, Amun, he got those titles through different phases during the Pyramid Wars. He got Amun because he got banished until Anu came back. When Anu came, he had to name Amun because he was hidden. He was hiding out because everybody was out there trying to kill him, like Inanna and the Enlil side, because of Damuzi, Osiris, the Lord of the Perfect Black. So it's like this. Could some of us alien DNA say, could y'all, some of y'all have alien DNA? All y'all got, a lot of y'all, at least 70-80% of y'all on Earth got alien DNA. Just hear what I said when Enki and them added their DNA, the image, they call it the image in the Bible, image translate to DNA. Because when you look like somebody, you got their DNA, right? Or when you and that goes with doppelgangers and everything. The people that don't like you don't even really know them like that, and then you run into them and y'all look alike. That's because your DNA, it's only a certain amount of templates of humans of the facial features that they came up with. Doing it was only like 6 or 7 because it took them like 600 years of the project on Mars. Hey, what about that? Somebody said Yeah, so definitely you humans got especially O type and B type blood. A really all the blood types really has got a extraterrestrial DNA except the RH, because the A is the A is another group of beings. The B is like Hindu blood type, and then the O is when the Anunnakis added their blood type to all the crossbreeds. But if you, like I say, all blood types got specific powers. Like if you're an AB, you a high power psychic. And I'm gonna do an AI tape on called "How to Eat for Your Blood Type." Hey, that's a good question, Brent, James. I'm gonna have to look into that. I don't, man. That's you the first person to ask that question. Well, you might not be the first person to ask it, but that is a good question that I need to find an answer to. How would you find your blood type without getting it tested? I was in the military, so they usually put out on our dog tags, so that's how we remember it. And we had to remember it, right? Just in case you get injured or something. So you had to get blood, you can do it, right? He says, yes, I'm gonna write that. When I get off, I'm gonna look into that, man. I'm gonna go into that, look into that. But I know if you go to, I know the doctor, but nobody really want to deal with them no more, right? Yeah, O positive. Yeah, so I got tapes on blood. I got about 5 tapes in a playlist called Health is Wealth playlist, and I'm gonna add a whole bunch of more tapes to that playlist about the blood types. But like I said, we got a lot of junk DNA in our DNA that was deactivated by the Anunnakis so that we wouldn't surpass them. Just imagine where we would be at right now if they wouldn't have like tampered with us. If you got A and B, if you got, especially if you got A, you got a high sense of telepathy, because that was an attribute that the A had before they started doing all the extra add-ons. But O is a universal blood type, and that's why you can pretty much, especially O negative, you can pretty much, I think it's O negative, right? You can give blood to anybody, right? But not, I don't think anybody could give blood to you, but you could give blood to anybody. So how is that? That says a lot. That says that, hey, well, if it's O could give blood to this guy, then A must be within encoded within the O. And the B must be with all the other blood types must be encoded in the O. So must be the O must be a generical or some kind of upgrade from the other blood types. You see what I'm saying? Like it must be like A is probably older. A and B. Well, I can't say they which one's older, but I can say on the planet probably I think A would be one of the oldest blood types. Like A and RH negative would be one of the two oldest blood types. And then when the Hindus come with the tiger blood, right? That makes it and then that added the B and the carnivore aspect, the meat eaters aspect. And then the Anunnakis and other extraterrestrials come and just everybody start getting it on to the break of dawn with these crossbreeding and upgrading and things, genetical slicing to where we get this, where it's like we got all these different blood types within, you know, that's just my perspective. I ain't no scientist or no doctor, and I'm just giving what I just based on what I put together, based on common sense. If an O can give anybody, so it got to be an A within the O, and that B got to be within the O too, you know. And then based on who could give who blood, based on who could give who blood, that determine which one is older by a process. But like say, based on what I think that's what happens. Ain't no sweat. But hey, then you gotta say Brent James, which Adam? Because there was more than one Adam. You got pale Adam, because the Nubians don't got no Adam, unless you want to go with the ATOM Adam. You know what I'm saying? We don't got no beginning. When did, okay, this is my question for you, Brent. I ain't picking on you, man. I just want to see where you at. Hey, so Brent, how old, when was Adam born? Or when was Adam born? Now, if you want to say, oh, God created him from the dust of the ground. So if you want to go that point, how long was that? Because the time they give us, for people that, we give them 50. Somebody said, you say 6,000 to 8,000. All right, so that ain't that old then. They got fossils that go back to millions of years of Nubians. So that Adam ain't that old. That's the white 6,000 year Adam is probably the pale Adam, the frugal Adam. That's not the Adam. That couldn't be a Nubian Adam, because there's mommies that go back older than, they got a mommy that go back 9,000 years over here in America. They got mummies that go back 9,000 years. Corn is an engineered, yeah. Somebody said he ain't reading. He said 6,000 to 8,000 years. That's what you said. I mean, he says black mud Adam made from the hands of Allah. Oh yeah, so you one of them. He wanted the Allah. He a Muslim. Okay, so now I know how to talk. All right, so you from the clock, right? He coming from the clock. So how long was that? How long was that ago? You say again, Brent? How long was when did Allah form Adam from the clock? I'm with you, Adam, because look, I'm a Muslim too. I went through that school, so come on. So what time frame you got on that one? Because pretty much the Quran is a derivative of the Bible, or the Torah, wherever you want to go. Let me ask you this, Brent James 9:2. Let me see where you at. Is the Adam that the Quran talk about the same Adam in the Genesis in the Bible? Yeah, I'm with that, Brent. Yeah. Malachi taught us all that, but I want to just get your question. So, is the Adam in the Bible, in the Genesis, the same Adam that Allah created in the Quran, brother? I just want to get what the brother is. We're waiting on your response. So he says we came from the. Yeah, I'm with it. Yeah, it says let us, but they say Allah is a singular though. Allah is a single person. He says, let us make man in our image. No, these are asking Allah for permission. Hey, I feel you on that. I can see where you. They asking Allah for permission. Okay. Okay, but when was you say you was the Adam, right? You come from the Adam. So when did Allah give them permission? What time frame did Allah give them permit these group of being, these these people, or whoever they were, gods or his sons, or I don't know, like you might not go with that because you Muslim, but when did Allah give these people or whoever the guy was the go ahead to take this clot and form the man or however you want to funk it about? What time frame you got on that? Was it 6,000 years ago to the day of risen? Man, different Adam. I see he want a buck dance. Just like, okay, all right, man, whatever. We'll go to something else. We'll go to something else, man. He don't want to. He want to go philosoph. He want to go filibuster on me and philosoph. I know who you is, Brick, because I see you be I be reading your comments that you so I know you an Islamic guy and you know, peace, assalamu alaikum, brother. You know, no doubt. But some people, I'll say this, some people he says, no, I just know my shit. Hey, peace, brother. Hey, I believe you. I believe you, brother. Hey, you know, some people bust the only go so far. Like some people, Islam to us, Islam is the first school. Islam in its pristine purity, though, not the Islam they call it Islam today. Right? I'm talking about Islam civics. They ain't have nothing to do with religion. Right? And it's still being practiced today in government secretly, really, because it's how your whole government is structured secretly, Islam. But yeah, Islam is the first school that you teach our children, and then you graduate from Islam to it's other schools after that you must take. But some people just stay right there. Islam, like my brothers, my Ansar Allah brothers, they starts down Islam, and that's cool. We love all people and where they at. I always cut my hair and rock the do-rag all my lives. If you go back and look at an old picture of me, not like in this life, in other lives, I always had a do-rag and a hat on. I'm telling you, man. Look at the picture. Go on my YouTube and look at the picture at the top, and then if you see that hat I got on, it's got the 6-pointed star with the crescent. Then I got that hat on with a do-rag. Way back then, I always had 360 waves. That's a trait that we got as Moors, as ancient Egyptians of the Americas, the real Israelites. The real America is the house of Israel. And the so-called Black Americans are the lost sheep. They got a sheep labeled as the dumbest animal. And they say that a sheep need a shepherd. And so, but they said as long as he don't got a shepherd, they will always be wandering in the wilderness. So that's why every time we get a leader, their plot was to take him down, kill him, lock him up, frame him, false imprisonment. Go look at what the list of what COINTELPRO said that they options, what they were gonna do to their ops. They said false imprisonment, you know, bad jacketing. They got a low list, man, that they was gonna do to our leaders, persecute the leaders, because if they're sheep, a sheep need a shepherd to lead and guide them to green pastures and lead them to the watering holes and lead them, protect them from wolves, because wolves love sheep. This is all symbolic though, but it's really meaningful when you think about the type of psychological game that they played on us. So they attack our leaders and then have us wondering. Then they hire other guys as distractions and decoys, like rappers, entertainers, and say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud, or I am somebody. I don't know who I am, but I am somebody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that type of thing. But the goat though, see, they goat herders, these guys. They say they ride the goat, they feed the goat in their lodge. They do all this goat, and little do they talk about the goat like it's a good, like they talk about the goat like they know what they talking about in these lodges. But do they really? Because we wasn't goat herders. They were goat herders, the Hyksos. And when we kicked them out from over here, the Tamaray and Police Department, ran by Murdoch, And the Magi's, who were the Afar people, yeah, they was over here. The old Mississippians, the ones who rocked the waves. Some of them had an afro with waves because we invented the do-rag. And they rounded all of these people up, put cable toes on them and blindfolds, and they goats with them, and made them ride their goats up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Put them on ships, sailed them around the ocean in circles so they wouldn't know where they was going, and then we dropped them off in Europe. But they was over in Argentina when we was engineering them. We was doing it in Argentina. Yaku really was in Argentina. He didn't leave. See, I figured out Yaku was in Argentina, and he left Argentina and then sailed around. Shabazz and them. That's what we putting together now, because they switched the maps around. But we when he came over, when he came out of Mexico up from South America after the experiment with these Moors, and that's the Yaku story and his henchmen that he left in charge. They came into our land and caused mischief and bloodshed. This land called Egypt. Gulf of Mexico was the Gulf of Egypt. We didn't call it Egypt though. That's another misnomer, which means burnt face. Really, we call ourselves Tamarians. And we can get into the translation of that, the land of Mary. Marie is Mary. Mary is the Black Madonna. That's our Nana. But anyway, we rounded these jokers up, blindfolded them, cable told them. If they was real, we figured they could. It depends on how good they was at getting out. If they was rookies, we put them one time around them. If they was all right, we played them 2 times around them. And if they was real good at getting out and breaking out, we put them 3 times around them. The cable tow around their neck. They were the real slaves, Slavics, that we drove to Europe. Then over to Caucasus Mountains. When we got them to Europe, they pushed them to Caucasus Mountains because there was another thing going on over there. Then about 1,000 years went by. We didn't have no problems. 1,000 years went by. Then some Moors got the bright idea. Moors from America who now was after this time, they was all over in Europe. Set up kingdoms over there. Pretty much built up Europe from America because we took the sewer systems over there from over here. They were peeing in pots, throwing it out of windows over there. Go look up the pot, Shakespeare's Dookie pot. They still got it in the museum over in Europe, like it's a classical piece. And then when you go in the museum, they point at it. They say, "Yeah, this is a pot that Shakespeare took a dump in and took a leak in." I'm telling you. But anyway, by around 900 BC, see, we was already all over the world. That's what they don't want to tell you. A long time. BC. Like BC. We was already selling BC. Don't fool yourself. So by 900 BC, some of people that was intelligent, that was already over there, said, "Hey, we can use this pale lady," because they were freaks. They were freaks, man. Freaks with a unique freakiness. So they took these people and roped them up like wild animals, and then took them. Go get a book called Night in the Moorish Harlem. It talks all about it. And then cleaned them up and put them in these Harlems, and this started your first brothels over in Europe in these areas. And these rich, wealthy guys, Moors really, who dressed in these zoot suits and all fancy clothes, used to set up these Harlems. And that was their first time they was get back out. And then they start hiring. Then they started saying, "Oh, we can use the men as mercenaries." And so they started hiring them as mercenaries. And the first mercenary that these guys hired, that's how they got back out. They would have never got back out if it weren't for this. The first mercenary that they let out was called Marco Polo. Y'all remember him? You remember y'all used to play Marco Polo in the pool? Yeah, Marco Polo. It's the first time they get a leg. They even started, we let them do anything. You know what? And some dirty Moors paid Marco Polo to go to the Vietnamese people and start a war so they can steal their land. Yeah. Go look it up. Man, I'm telling you, go look up Marco Polo. And then that's how, when the Marco Polo sailed, that was at the end of the 1,000 years that he was bounded in Europe. Europe means rope. It means ropes, and it means caves and hills and rope, like to rope them in, lock them in. I'm telling you, man. And it goes back to Europa too, who really was connected one of our Nana daughters. But that's another story. Yeah, but because she was the queen over that land for a long time before these guys I'm telling you about got a leg up. So what happens after that? Yeah, Marco Polo. Then you hear about Columbus and all the rest of these guys. But Marco Polo was the first, what you call, go look these up, mercenaries. What a mercenary is, signed up by dirty Moors. Because they don't know how to build boats. These people were crawling around the ground eating raw meat. They didn't even know how to use a fork. The Moors taught them what they call etiquette. That's why they all got always the fork and the salad fork. And the Moors started that to show them how to be not to be beasts and dogs. And, you know, the Moors started it. We didn't need to know that. You know what I'm saying? They got to have a fork. And you ever seen that? They call it proper etiquette. You got to have a fork. You got a salad fork. You got a dinner fork. You got a butter knife. And this and that. And you got to pick this up and you got to eat like this. And you got to take small bites and you got to chew a whole bunch of times. Like that. That's how you teach a baby. So they were babies with this type of information. So the Moors started, and now they think they the most uppitiest people around after these people that taught them this for 100, 200, 300 years. It took them 600 years almost. Well, really, it took them 60 years. They had to put a board in their back to make them stand up straight. They was walking around at 33 degrees, red above freezing. And now they call themselves 30 degrees. Come on, man. That's not even square. 90 degrees is square. The Moors stood at 90 degrees from the ground. That's a real man standing off the ground, standing up straight, looking up. 33 degrees is walking around like a dog on 4. So are you riding on 4 or walking on 2? Right? Because the people that's riding on 4 sound like they was riding on camels or horses or something. So they must have been the master. And the people that was walking must have been on 2, must have been the slaves. Unless they got on them goats. They rode that goat, fed that goat now. Because that junior warden or them junior stewardess say, oh, you got to feed the goat now. What goat? Come on with it. Stop with it, man. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're talking about a whole incident that I ain't really, it got something to do with us, but it was us kicking them out. We ain't goat herders. You don't got to be blindfolded to come into our order and then see the light. You know what I'm saying? Then they show you the light, huh? What light? The game is up. The gig is up for the bad Masons. The good Masons, they got to continue, just like always. The game is up for, if you part of this federal system, if you part of this mystery Babylon, if you a Mason that's part of the mystery Babylon system, you're going to fall. You're going to go down. Your jurisdiction is no more. You can think it is, but it's no more. I'm telling you. The mystery Babylon has fallen. It's like Elijah Muhammad prophesied the fall of the dollar. It's inevitable because it's based on nothing. but the faith and belief. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'd rather have Jesus than silver and gold. That's what the dollar is. You know what I'm saying? And people might say, "Oh, you going after Jesus?" Nah, man, we like Jesus. We've been down with Jesus for a long time. I'm just saying. We ain't going. Jesus is the Christ consciousness, and we got the Christ consciousness, and the Christ consciousness ain't going for that type of game no more. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And you know what? When I say Jesus, and when people that's listening from this point on, you know what Jesus really is? It's not a name. It's not a person. It's none of it. It's just the energy, and the energy is. Let me give you an example. I'm gonna give you a couple examples of what the energy is. When you ride on the interstate, somebody car flip over 10 times, and their car is smoking on like it's about to blow up. And the person that stopped and get out and risk their own life to get them out that car and save them, because Jesus just mean to save. The person that saved them, he become the Jesus energy. So anytime you save somebody life, save them from anything, or come be the person that come through to save them from whatever they consider to be a situation where it's a dire situation, at that point you become that energy. And so that's what it is to me. Anybody can be it. Anybody can be that energy at any time. A dog. It was a man that was mowing his yard on a riding lawnmower. And he ran over a hornet's nest because hornets live in the ground. And like 10,000 hornets came out and to attack the old man. Now, but the thing is, he had a canine dog. And the canine dog heard him coming out, and he rushed over there and started trying to bite him out the air. So instead of attacking the old man, they rushed for the dog. The dog died, but the man lived. That dog, it was Jesus. Telling you, man, that's my ideology of it. Now you might disagree and say, "Oh, that's crazy," or it don't make sense. But that's my ideology of what that energy is. And like anytime you in a bad, like you in jail, you say, "Man, I ain't gonna, man, if you let me out of this thing, Jesus, I ain't gonna." And then somebody come through and you get out. Something happened when you get out. Some person saved you from that situation. They become that energy, the savior energy. It's because you can just translate it into savior. You can just translate it into savior of that energy, the energy that saved you from a dire moment. And it could be a person, a dog, anything. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Man, what y'all got, man? How long we been on? We gonna come back for another round 2 though, because we got to go do something at 9:30. But then we're gonna come back probably like at 10 o'clock and come back with a round 2 on this. Cause we feel like y'all lit tonight. Now the opposite of that energy is, the opposite of the opposite of save would be what somebody, I would like the term like adversary. I think would be a good term. Your adversary, somebody that's against your well-being, against your comfortable. Now, that's a thin line on that too, because sometimes when you growth cause uncomfortableness. So sometimes pain and this and that thing is a part of growth. But adversary, now, you know what I'm saying, somebody that's totally against you, like you know this what you're doing is right, and then this person just want to just hate you for no reason, just want to stop you, just want to be in your way, just want to, you know what I'm saying, and then too, it depends on what level you on. You can look at it like this: hey, this person is just when you running a race or when you training, like when we was in the military, we did obstacles. They put obstacles on a course, but your job is to go over those obstacles to your job is to go over those obstacles, right? and to accomplish those obstacles and keep it moving. Man, but we got to get up out of here, man. I'm finna go do something real quick. I'm gonna be back in 30 minutes, y'all, for part 2. Stay tuned. Y'all on TV. Never have it been made so clear.